What's up, everyone? Thank you for checking out and supporting this episode of Raised a Geek. This week, we decided to talk about the movie Thanksgiving because it's Thanksgiving. We spent a lot of brain cells on that one. Does this movie return as a main course next year, or will it be scrapped into the garbage bin of holiday movie cash-ins? Let's find out. I'm Chris, and this week I'm here with Tony and Don. How we doing, guys?
Chris, what is up today, my friend? And Tony, my other friend. Everything is okay on this Saturday evening. We are recording in the evening. Got together to do a little Thanksgiving recording, but I'm okay. How are you guys? How are you?
Doing all right, enjoying the weekend thus far. Glad I had time to hop on with you guys and talk about movies and stuff. So yeah, I'm doing all right. What about you, Chris?
No complaints, except for the fact that I had to subscribe to Netflix without ads to watch this movie.
Ooh.
They got me. I tried to watch it with ads, and they were like, nope.
You should have just borrowed mine.
You own this movie?
No, I'm at my Netflix.
Oh, that costs money now.
I don't think they let you share anymore.
I don't know. My dad shares. I pay for an extra household. I think I get away with sharing it with somebody else.
Wait, Netflix has an ad tier now?
Yeah, that was what I did to watch the Tyson fight. I just did because I didn't have Netflix. So I was like, I'll pay $7 with the ad tier. That's probably why I had so much buffering, is because I was on the lowest tier.
Ooh.
And it became unwatchable, so I didn't even get to watch it until the next day.
You paid for it, and then you had to pay again to watch this?
Yeah, I had to upgrade my subscription to the premium tier, or whatever the next tier is. There's 3 tiers. There's a 7, a 15, and a 22. So I had to up it to the 15 ad-free to watch this movie, to watch Thanksgiving.
So twice now since you've gotten Netflix, you had something that was basically unwatchable.
Yeah. I couldn't watch the Tyson fight because I was most likely the lowest tier.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't watch Thanksgiving because I was the lowest tier. But I did get to watch season of the Detroiters, so worth it?
Totally. 100%.
Is that worth a Netflix subscription for the month?
Yep.
Probably.
Yep.
For sure.
I went in the other day before to watch Thanksgiving. I was like, all right, I got this. Let's watch. I'm going to watch Thanksgiving. This is before I even found out I was going to need to upgrade. And I was like, let's watch it. And then the first thing that popped up was Detroiters. And I was like, nope, I'm going to watch 6 episodes of Detroiters instead. And that's what I did that night.
It's a great choice.
You haven't watched the Detroiters. It is now on Netflix. And you have no excuse to not watch those 2 seasons of just hilarity.
My hope is that because it came to Netflix, and like Netflix has this relationship with Tim Robinson now because of the success of I Think You Should Leave, that somebody there at that place is like, guys, we got to do a 3rd season. Sam, I know you got stuff going on. Tim, you're doing shit with HBO and making movies with Paul Rudd, but we got to find time to make this 3rd season of this fucking show because this is hilarious.
Even to do like a 6 episode. Like, you don't even have to do a full thing. Just, 6 episodes.
I smile until my face hurts if that show comes back. So make it happen.
Kremlin duvet, okay? Kremlin duvet.
Yeah. So if you haven't watched the Detroiters, that's going to be our shout out this week. Netflix. It's 2 seasons.
Before we got into the Thanksgiving movie, it being Thanksgiving, me and Chris might have did this last year. I don't remember. But now Tony's with us. We got to add him into this. Thanksgiving in a couple days. Best holiday because it revolves around food. And who doesn't love food? But Thanksgiving, you only can have one dish, one thing. What's your go-to? What's your go-to Thanksgiving dish? It can be a main, a side, a drink, a dessert, whatever you choose. Who's first?
Someone else.
I'm just going to impress everybody. Plain mashed potatoes. I honestly hate Thanksgiving, and I'm pretty sure I said this last year too.
You probably did. Now I remember.
I hate Thanksgiving food because everybody tries to be fancy and add extra things to it. I'm like, no, I just want sweet potatoes. No, I don't want sweet potatoes with maple syrup and brown sugar and marshmallows. That's too sweet. I can't eat it.
It's delicious.
I made mashed potatoes. What'd you put in them? Oh, I put in some sour cream and some cream cheese to make them creamy, and then some seasoning. It's like just potatoes.
But wait, you do it with like salt, pepper, butter, gravy, or nothing? Just like plain?
I mean, those things I would do, but it's when you put in like the extra. Usually people want to add sour cream to everything, and I hate sour cream.
Oh, no.
Everything has sour cream in it.
No
sour cream on a baked potato?
No, I don't eat sour cream on anything. Sour
Hey,
cream is
hold
disgusting.
on. Calm
I
down.
throw
all
away
right?
Taco Bell when they keep sour cream on it. I just don't
Look,
eat it. I'm like,
so-
whoops.
Dude,
So how
next
do you-
time you're in town, I'm gonna have Jess makes really good just scratch homemade mashed potatoes, salt and butter. That's all she puts in there. You know, milk, so it's not just like a brick of starch, but they're perfect. They're friggin' awesome.
Yeah, but you just like I said, a little milk, a little butter. I mean, I'm not a monster, but like but everyone wants to bring salads of some kind, and they always just are weird. And I'm just like, I don't want to eat any of this. So I eat like turkey and a roll, and that's about all I eat on Thanksgiving because everybody tries to be fancy. Now, if you bring in plain sweet potatoes, which usually I end up doing, I'll just like bake some sweet potatoes and I'll put like a little bit of cinnamon on the top and a little bit of just like pecans, and that's good.
Okay, you gotta have potatoes with every meal. Give me a break. Potatoes rule the world. All right, then for me, I will say I probably said this last year too. It's just like a green bean casserole, fucking, but it's got to have all the right stuff. Like some people leave out the important parts. No, you need all of it. You need those crunchy
Onions.
French onion pieces on top. You need water chestnuts. You need
Water chestnuts.
Oh my God, you need water chestnuts. uh that like that sauce
Cream of
or whatever.
mushroom soup.
Yeah, the mushroom soup filling,
But it
and the
can't be
good.
too runny.
No. It's
You
got to
got to
have a
have
nice.
that consistency because a lot of people it'll just be like slop, and I'm just
Well,
like,
yeah.
I'm not eating this.
If you put it down on your plate and it runs all over the place, somebody didn't make it right, and you should shame them for making it wrong. It has
I'm
to
gonna
have
shame
a.
everybody this year at Thanksgiving for everything.
Yeah, you
All
should.
of the choices that everyone made this year, I am shaming everybody.
Okay.
I'm gonna be a
Yeah, but
tornado of shame.
a good green bean casserole, and I think I might try to make it this year to bring.
Nice.
We'll see. I'll see what I can do. But
Nice.
yeah, that's a staple.
Love it. Nice. I like food.
I like food. Food tastes good.
So when you first brought this up, I was like, I don't know. Like I like turkey. I like green bean casserole. Here's what I'll say this. When I'm disappointed when I go somewhere for Thanksgiving, if they don't have canned cranberry sauce, I like it.
Okay.
I like it. It's tart. It's sweet. I take a bite of
do
that.
The
with
jellied or the whole berry?
Jellied, just the brick.
You want it to
and-
look like the can.
Yes, and
Like
then
with even the little ridges of the can still in it, like that you cut.
100%. I'm a huge fan of that. I like that, the tartness of that, and like the ocean spray is the best one. The other ones are fine, but that it's good. So like I'm always disappointed if I go somewhere and they don't have that, and then I feel like I don't think this is for everybody, but like someone in my family would always bring a tray of deviled eggs. And that would be another thing. I'd be disappointed if it wasn't there because I love deviled eggs. So
That's key. That's
you know
key.
what I mean?
love deviled eggs. Like
So I could just eat
You
those.
just said you ate Thanksgiving, but you love deviled eggs.
deviled eggs aren't always associated with Thanksgiving.
But no, here's the thing. I think they are, but I think a lot of people just don't do it right, and they forget that
You know
should
what's-
be a staple.
You know what's the worst is what you just said about the cranberry sauce is when people try to make cranberry sauce. Like, no, just bring a can.
Yeah,
Just
I
put
don't
a can
want
in
the
a dish. Don't try to
artisanal
make something.
berries that you went to Michigan to pick that were sauteed with couscous, and
Yeah.
you know,
When it has those big chunks, I'm kind of like not into it either. So
Yeah.
maybe I'm canned too.
yeah.
But yeah, deviled eggs are a choice, and they are Thanksgiving, but I feel like they're a whole holiday season thing. They're
For
from
sure.
like Thanksgiving to Christmas. That's deviled egg season.
Absolutely.
I mean, Christmas and even into New Year's. My
Yeah.
aunt, whenever we used to go to her house for New Year's, there was always deviled eggs, and that's what I would eat.
You think it would be Easter, considering people are usually boiling eggs anyway for
Eggs,
the coloring.
Easter bunny, chickens.
Yeah, you think that they'd have deviled eggs served at every Easter
But they're
dinner
not.
you've ever been to, but I don't
We-
think so.
We should petition to make deviled eggs a year-round thing. Like they should be available all the time. People make them for 4th of July, make them for the Memorial Day, make them for dinner on a random Wednesday night. Deviled eggs all the time, 24/7, 365. I'm petitioning for this.
I'm a big fan of this.
Yeah. I 100% agree.
Mhm. All right. I just wanted to hear some
My-
Thanksgiving talk before we
Ready.
get into
ready for before we talk about the Thanksgiving movie and what they served in this movie is not
Thanksgiving.
as appealing for a meal.
You
Cannibalism.
mean all You mean all the murders?
All the
the
murders and the cannibalism, not necessarily the Thanksgiving dinner I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's not exactly what I'm hoping is sitting on the table when I show up.
Let's hope not. Let's hope a crazy pilgrim isn't after you on a Thanksgiving Day.
His name's John Carver.
John Carver?
All right.
John Carver, the Thanksgiving murderer. Thanksgiving
Murder
is a
Pilgrim.
movie by Eli Roth, came out in 2023. That follows the plot of after a Black Friday riot ends in tragedy, a mysterious Thanksgiving-inspired killer terrorizes Plymouth, Massachusetts, the birthplace of the infamous holiday that is known as Thanksgiving. So we got Black Friday, we got riots, and we got John Carver, the pilgrim serial killer, out to, what's the word? Invoke revenge? Enact revenge?
We'll go with that. Enact
Came
his
out for
revenge.
revenge. Thanksgiving. Did anybody watch this movie before? Did anybody watch this last year?
No, I was supposed to. I was supposed to watch it with the Kick Rock guys, and I had something come up and had to cancel.
Yeah, I didn't either. I think it was in theaters around this time last year, and just like I really need to be motivated to go to the movie theater to see something. So like I was like, at some point it'll be somewhere. I'll see it, and it's just like a slasher horror film. So it was like I wasn't too crazy about needing to go see it in the theater, but no, to answer you, I did not see it last year. This is a first viewing.
Well, and by the time it dropped on Netflix, it was past Thanksgiving, and I was like, well, I'll watch it next year.
Sure.
Okay, so this was the first viewing for you, Chris?
Yeah, I never watched this. I was waiting for this Thanksgiving to watch it.
So I will say,
I would watch it at this point.
The opposite of Don, when I heard they were making this, I was so excited about it. I was super pumped because we briefly touched on this before we started out. It's based off of the fake Grindhouse trailer that Eli Roth did for the double feature for Planet Terror and Death Proof.
Mm-hmm.
They made a bunch of those fake trailers. Machete was one. They ended up turning that into a movie. So when they said, they had two of those, you're right. So when they said that they were going to make this and Eli Roth was doing it, I was like, amazing, because I loved that Grindhouse trailer. It was campy and hilarious, and it looked super fun. And I remember since I saw that, I'm like, it's so ridiculous. I wish they would just make that into a movie. They never did. Then they announced that they're going to do it. I got excited. Then you start to see some of the casting, and it's like, okay, and then you see the first trailer that came out for the actual movie, and I was like, I feel like this isn't what I signed up for. It just didn't have that same feel or vibe.
Did it need to have, because like the Machete movies, they made those, and they made those in that Grindhouse style. So they basically made those movies like they were made at that period in time. Well, this one, they didn't do that. They made this as a modern horror, and it sounds like that took it away from you, took away some of your excitement.
100%, man. I mean, we'll get into it, but it's like, it was completely different than the feel that you would expect. So
if you would have made it more like the trailer, I think it would have been more well received by us or maybe others who just were hoping for that. And that just brings me to another little side topic, not to get too sidetracked, but
it's our show.
What you think about Eli Roth as a director and Grindhouse, which this was in? I like Planet Terror, but still to this day, I hate Death Proof. I'm sorry. Just like I do not like Death Proof at all. I think it's probably one of the two Quentin Tarantino movies that I hate. Like I love a lot of his movies, but I really dislike Death Proof, and I really dislike The Hateful Eight, just for whatever reason. Well, there's plenty of reasons I can get into it another time, but just like so like the Thanksgiving trailer, now rewatching, I was like, this is one of my happiest memories of that double feature, because I kind of liked Planet Terror. It was okay, but yeah, I mean, I just have not good feelings about Death Proof. And Eli Roth, I don't know, Hostel, this movie, I know he directed Borderlands, which was like a big fail recently. So his career's kind of up and down, but like his name is kind of a name people know, like a director who can, I don't know, he's entertaining at times.
Now, I forgot all of those. I forgot all of this. So like I forgot about the Grindhouse trailer that this movie was based on, and rewatching it before we hit record, hilarious at how much it really was that trailer. And I forgot that Eli Roth directed it. So when I sat down to watch it, it was like directed by Eli Roth. And I was like, all right, what am I about to get? Like, it completely threw me off. But I haven't watched a lot of Eli Roth. I watched Cabin Fever, the original one that he did. I did watch Borderlands. I never watched any of the Hostel movies. I didn't watch his Cannibal movie. Like, a lot of Eli Roth movies I haven't really watched. So I've known about him and I know what he does, but I haven't seen a lot of him.
It seems
like
like there's
him-
always a lot of hype around his movies, but not a lot of success. I remember Hostel was his first one, right? Or the one that kind of
Cabin Fever was one of his first movie that that did something. Like, that was the first one that put him on the map. And then 3 years later, that was in 2002, Jesus, 2002. And in 2005, he did Hostel.
See,
And
I remember seeing Hostel and being like, all right, new horror director, that wasn't bad. You know what I mean? I don't remember too much.
enjoyed
I don't remember
Hostel.
too much about it. I remember it being all right, but other than that, yeah, I don't know.
But
I just
did
loved
watch-
that original Grindhouse trailer.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. And then, like I said, but I never watched Death Wish.
Or Death Proof, either one.
I watched Death Proof, but
Death
I
Wish.
only saw Death Proof in theaters. I never rewatched that.
Oh wait, you were actually sorry. I thought you just fucked up or messed up.
No,
Sorry.
I was looking through Eli
so
Roth.
Eli
Roth did the remake of Death Wish
with Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know
I
that
never
was
watched
him.
it.
I saw it. It was whatever.
But yeah, he does for doing very little. I mean, he definitely Hostel put him on the map of a name, but he definitely has a name.
And he's a director who can act too. He was in Inglourious Bastards and a couple other things, and I liked him in that. So
yeah, I don't really have any feelings towards him one way or another.
okay.
I don't know if anyone else does, but yeah, I agree. The Grindhouse, I still remember going to the show and seeing both of those movies and having a good time with that package. But yeah, I've watched Planet Terror. I feel like I watched that one a couple times since, but yeah, I've never gone back to Death Proof.
No, I've only seen Death Proof the one time. When Don, you said you hated that and Hateful Eight. I would say that if I were to rank Tarantino's movies, those are the two that I would probably say are the most forgettable for me, or on the back of my list. If I were to rank them, I don't know if I hated them. They're just not as good as his other ones. You know what I mean? Where I wouldn't sit through them again. You know, some of them are hard to sit through again. You know what I mean?
My thing with those two is not to get too deep into it, just like super violent towards women, and that just always bothers me.
Yeah.
And like I know this is Tarantino when he does it, but like his excessive use of the N-word.
Oh yeah.
in
Hateful Eight. Yeah.
Hateful Eight was just like, all right, I get it. You want this lady to say this a million times.
Right.
I can only hear it so many times though.
Yeah.
And it's just like yeah, just if you ever rewatch those movies, just like the crazy violence towards women, like, God, dude, we get it. It's enough. I can't take much more of this.
Yeah, and not to defend it or anything, but like, in Death Proof, it builds to that, and he gets his fucking comeuppance. You know what I mean? It's awesome. The payoff at the end is pretty fucking great.
Yeah, to get to the ending though is like a slog to get through. To like sit through everything he does.
For sure.
But anyway.
But this isn't a Death Proof podcast.
No, it isn't.
This is about Thanksgiving with Patrick Dempsey, the Dempsonator.
Oh, Dempsey.
So yes, this was a movie. Overall, I guess, did you enjoy this movie? Was this enjoyable to watchable? Are you gonna watch it next year for Thanksgiving? Anybody have any initial thoughts? And then we can
no, I won't watch it next Thanksgiving, and I'll probably never watch it again.
You're gonna watch Thanksgiving 2 next year?
If it's cut like a 70s Grindhouse movie, maybe. I don't know, man. I think because I was so I think because I love that trailer so much, and it was so over the top and hilarious.
Right.
Like the whole thing, that whole trailer had a funny comical vibe to it, even though it was really violent. I feel like this movie, they tried to make it a legit slasher movie, and there was nothing fun about this to me at all. There was no charm to it. I kept checking the running time on it, to be honest, and I was like, I'm not even an hour through this, And then it was like every 10 minutes. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, how much longer is this going? So yeah, I was not a fan of it at all. And really, I really wanted to be. I really wanted to like this because I look forward to it. But yeah, for me, I'd say nah. It was okay. It was
Mhm.
it was fine.
I'm kind of in the same camp where I don't feel like I'll have to ever see it again. Like once is kind of enough. But uh I did enjoy it for what it was. I think it knew that it was a camp movie, not to be taken too seriously, and the strength of this movie was gonna be in its over the top kills, and they knew that and they leaned into that, like doing you know, slasher kills that are just like kind of make you say holy shit when you're watching them. Like I can't
Table
believe they
saw.
yeah, like I can't believe they went there. I can't believe they did that. That's insane. So like the most entertained I was watching this movie was during those, just like kind of like, oh my god, they really did that. But like for the rest of the movie, I'm just like, I'm sitting. It's kind of like generic. This is like feeling like Scream to me or something, or just like anything like that. Nothing crazy original about that, minus the fact that it's based on Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving doesn't get a lot of movies. Uh, so that was you know, intriguing on its own. But yeah, I mean, I knew it wasn't going to be some kind of art film, like Oscar worthy, award worthy. I knew it was going to be stupid, and I knew it was going to be campy, and that's what it was. So I just kind of knew that going in and just accepted it, and really was just in awe sometimes of the kills they did, like how over the top they went, and
Mhm.
that's like how I took my entertainment from this film. So but it's still not enough to get me to wanna watch it again. It's like, I don't have to put this movie on next Thanksgiving and be like, "This is a Thanksgiving classic." Kinda like how Trick or Treat is for Halloween or Krampus is to me for Christmas. Like, I don't need to turn this movie on every Thanksgiving to watch it again. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll talk about all those reasons, but
Yeah.
I don't
No,
know.
I agree. I had fun watching it. We were cracking jokes about it and, making fun of it and just doing stuff. So I mean, I had fun watching it. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm not gonna watch it. I'll probably watch the second one whenever it hits streaming, whatnot. I'm not gonna go to the show to see it
Are
unless
they really doing a second one?
yeah, it comes out next year.
Oh my God, I thought you were joking.
No, they're really doing a second one. Eli Roth, that's his next movie.
I'm jealous, man. I did not have fun with this at all.
I don't know. Like I said,
I think my expectations were too high.
yeah, I
That's the
completely
trailer.
forgot about the Grindhouse aspect of it, the trailer, any of that stuff. So like, I just went in thinking, okay, slasher movie, and then when I saw Eli Roth, I didn't even know he directed it until I literally sat down to watch it now. So I was like, okay, and then yeah, got to like the first set of kills, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is Eli Roth doing what he's doing. I set those expectations, at the Black Friday massacre, which I guess we could start talking about. But as that started happening, and you're watching the dude getting his neck slit open, and Gina Gershon getting a shopping cart slammed into her head and getting scalped somehow. Um,
From a
you know,
shopping cart.
from a shopping cart. So seeing some of that craziness and then just kind of getting the vibe of what they were going for. Like I said, it was stupid, but yeah, the Boston of it all, where they were just like, "Fuck you," just
Dude,
every 10 minutes,
the over the
every ten
top
seconds.
Boston and the fact that no one was giving a fuck about anyone else during that whole thing, I was just like, holy fuck. That was for me too much. You know what I mean? I was just like, dude, this has gone on far too long.
It went on way too long. It was
It was
way
like
long.
20 minutes.
It was yeah. The first 20 minutes of the movie was building up for this riot massacre at the Black Friday, and it wasn't even that worth it in
And
there.
I think he was trying to do some kind of message too about like greed and like
100%. Yeah.
why it's wrong to be like American
Consumerism.
Consumers.
consumer greed, like
Yeah.
it'll get you killed by a guy because you know what I mean.
The problem is in 2023 when this movie came out, people don't do that anymore. Like that's a 90s thing. That was like, I mean, when we had those riots and we had people trampling each other, I mean, you haven't seen anything about that in years, if
Amazon.
not decades.
Thanks Amazon for saving lives
Right.
by making
Right.
it. Yeah.
But you had all of this stuff then, and Black Friday month, I mean, it's like November is, just sales. It's just kind of like sales all month long versus, I mean, Best Buy's been doing doorbusters for 2 weeks. So it's not that big of a deal anymore. So yeah, and definitely feels like it's been a decade since we've seen
Yeah,
footage of riots and stuff. So it felt like almost a time capsule of, like, you could picture your kid looking at you. Was that really what it was like, Mom?
It was a commentary on how things used to be. Because don't get us wrong, like people listening who are younger than us, like that is how it used to be.
Oh, people did die and get
Yeah.
trampled in doorbuster
I'm going to tell a
situations.
really quick sidebar because I worked at GameStop for a Black Friday, and I would work the overnight, so we were there doing the sale. And this lady came up, and she was buying the games and stuff. So I was checking her out, and then her phone rang. She put it on speaker as she was like going through her purse. So the phone's sitting there, and I heard a little boy, "Mom, Mom," and she's like, "What's going on?" He was like, "I was at Walmart, and I was leaning into one of those bins, and someone pushed me in, and I can't get out." And she's like, "Oh my God." And she's freaking out. And we're just sitting there like trying not to laugh. Like, she's like, "I'm coming." And she like ran out the store. She left that store. Literally the entire place just started dying. Everybody's just standing in line. Like, there was like 40 or 50 people in this GameStop, and everybody's just laughing at this kid. This poor kid got stuck in a bin and had to
Oh
call
my
his mom.
God.
The funniest, and to add to the sidebar that we're doing now, like the funniest Black Friday story I have, because we did used to go to them every now and then for a couple years. Actually, I have a few funny stories, but I'm not going to fill this whole podcast with them. But
We can. I mean, we all agree this movie's not the best.
there was like 1 year we went to Walmart, and I don't know if Chris, I don't know if you were there, but I know for sure Tony was there because he's the crux of this story. But it was like at a Walmart on Black Friday, and we're in there, and it is exactly what you saw in this movie. People lined up like crazy, running around, grabbing shit, and like Walmart used to fucking put out all these
I was there.
pallets of like their important things, and it's like first come first serve, which is a crazy way to do things. Like, you want us to die, you want us to fight over these things. But it was the year, this is like, revealing our age, but the year the crazy Black Friday item was a VHS DVD combo. This back when those first came out, like DVDs were just getting hot, but everyone still had VHSs. But we wanted this combo that's like $50 off or whatever the hell it is, and so those of course go super fast. And we're running around, and Tony's in there with some friends, and like there was one of them. They're all gone. Like, people have already grabbed these things.
Oh
and
yeah,
they're all
the pallet was
gone.
empty.
Pallet's empty, and there's like a cart in like the ladies' underwear section or clothes, wherever the hell we were, and there's a shopping cart that just has one of them sitting in it, and so then we're like, huh? And all these people around were starting to be like, hey, look at that. There's one of those VHS DVD combos. Like, is that somebody's? Whose cart is that? Whose cart is that? And everyone's kind of looking at it like, I don't know. And then fucking Tony just walks up and grabs the cart. I'm like, oh, that's mine. I shouldn't have left it there. And like, he had one. Like, you weren't supposed to get there. We weren't here early enough to get those, but you just got one using your skills and cunning.
Yeah.
Dude, I still felt a little guilty. Like, was someone going to come back for that cart? What was going on with this thing?
You claimed it. It was yours now.
Because I remember I like nuzzled my window. I was like, oh, no, this is mine. Excuse me, sorry. And I was like pushing it, and they were all like, oh, and they started to walk away. And I just pushed the cart, and in one fluid motion, I pushed the cart away, grabbed the box out of it, and the cart just disappeared into a clothing rack. I was just like,
yeah.
I was like, I knew that I couldn't afford to be seen with that in a cart and have the person who cart it was.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, that's mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was wild. I'm not going to say it wasn't wild.
Yeah. It was wild.
At the time in the 90s or early 2000s, the early aughts, 20 years ago. But in 2023,
yeah,
it's not a thing anymore.
It's not really a thing anymore. So it's definitely a product of time.
Well,
and
maybe
it's
this
a product
maybe
of time
this
that I'm glad it's
movie,
done.
maybe this movie was supposed to be based in like the year 2000. Who knows?
Maybe. I mean,
yeah, not with
knows?
the cell phones, but that was another social message that he was sending.
Right.
With the cell phone use and streaming and people not paying attention. The whole thing of why they had to go to Right Mart. I broke my phone when I got in a fight with that guy. I need a phone so I could text while I'm in the movies. Like, I know kids use their phones a lot and it's annoying, but it was just like, you really think someone's got to go stop at the store to get a phone before they go to the movie theater? I don't know. Maybe kids are that, I don't know, dependent on their phones now, but I don't know.
I don't know. Sounds very old man yelling at clouds.
Yeah. So the riot happens, people get injured and killed, and then a year later,
As that dude was he's bleeding out by his neck as he's still picking up the waffle iron.
okay.
That
So
was
there
the funniest-
was
that was
some
the
parts
funniest
that
part.
they were trying to make funny, you know?
That was one of the funniest parts. I did laugh at that.
Yeah.
I did
as
too.
he's dying and still trying to get his item. That was
Yeah.
funny.
And then someone sees a dead man struggling with it, and she takes it from him when there's a pallet of them behind her. Come on.
Yeah. It was over the top.
Slasher
It was
movie.
over the top.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be believable,
But it set the scene of what you were about to watch.
yeah. And then
Where we're going.
a year later, the town's kind of recovered from it, and they're getting ready to have their sale again. And then a mysterious John Carver starts posting things on social media, hinting about a revenge. Is that kind of where that step went to?
Yeah,
More or less.
for the most part. It kind of took at this point, it became a slasher movie that you're used to. Like I already used the comparison of Scream.
Yeah.
Like this whole movie, you're just trying to guess who it is.
Right.
You've met all the characters, or you've met most of the characters at this point, and it just becomes like this kind of paint by numbers thing that slasher films do like this, where it's somebody in a mask. You know it's going to be somebody you've met. You're trying to figure out why. So there was nothing too original about that, but I mean, like I said when I was talking about why I thought this movie was okay, it's just led to a bunch of, to me, good, cool, funny, gross kills. To me, that's the only thing I really liked about this movie was that, like,
That's all there was.
yeah, it wasn't like your run of the mill, somebody just gets slapped. No, they figured out a way to keep topping themselves and make it gross, and I just think that's what this movie was going for the whole
What's crazy
time.
is I actually enjoyed the first one with the waitress where he dunked her in water and then threw her against the freezer door and stuck her
Messed
there so
up.
he could go get the axe. I was just like, huh, that's messed up as she's trying to peel herself away as he's going to get his axe. I'm just like, that
It's
was
original.
a gross way. Yeah, I was like, that was a good way to kind of almost get her to hold still like real quick. And
Yeah.
I thought that was like right at the begining. I was like, huh, that was pretty clever.
The only issue with that one was the way to finish her was like cutting in half by a dumpster. Like that wouldn't happen. Is that a steel iron knife dumpster?
Yeah, she
Right.
exploded. I was like, Jesus.
I laughed when that happened because it wouldn't happen.
Right.
It was
I
very
was just like,
CGI'd.
I
It
was like,
like
what? Like, what?
Yeah.
How did that just happen? Right.
yeah, it was so over the top
Yeah.
at
But-
how that happened. I was like, good Lord.
I'll agree with that. Like the kills were interesting. A ton of CGI though, you know what I mean, which kind of
Sure.
takes away from it. But I'll say that they basically mimicked all the kills from the trailer, which I thought was cool that they did that. And some of the other ones were just crazy, dude. The unintentional kill during the parade after he chops off the guy's character's head, and then the guy slams on the brakes, and the Plymouth spear from the ship comes through and just impales that dude's head. While those two little pilgrim granddaughters are freaking out, I was just like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
And they showed that one like 3 times.
They kept going back to his face, all jacked up, and those girls were like, "Grandpa!" Like,
gotta
I was
know-
like, "Holy
know-
shit!"
You just know Eli Roth was proud of that one. That's why he kept going back.
That's why, yeah, you're
I'm
right.
going to show this a bunch of times, and adding the kids in kind of added a thing like, come on, man, get the kids, the kids.
I know those are actors, but they gotta see this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was messed up. I found it really almost ridiculous at how John Carver got around. Like he was magic. He just popped up wherever he needed to be. He moved stuff around, especially when he got to I was thinking of I first noticed it with the security guard killing the apartment when he just like stuff was moving and he was just moving around that apartment with at ease without being seen. And I was just like, what is happening right now?
That's kind of all these movies. I think about it. This is like my third time mentioning Scream, but I think of that too. Just like I always think about during movies like this.
Scream, there was 2 of them. Scream, there was 2 of them.
Well, true. But man, I love Scream.
Yeah.
How do there's rumors of Matthew Lillard coming back for the next one, which would be awesome. But anyway, how do these slasher killers like get so good at it? You know what I mean? Like
They're in masks and shit.
they're
They
so
shouldn't be
good
able-
at they're so good at being stealth. They're so good at popping up at the last minute. And I know, like, spoilers for this movie, like, it turns out the guy at the end of this is the cop. So maybe he kind of has a good idea of how to be a whatever, you know what I mean? Maybe he has the skills to do it. But in other movies, just like a teenage kid in high school, like, how are you so good at hiding and planning and like trapping people, and like you've never done this before? Like, I don't know. Sometimes they make them too good. Like, you're too good at this.
But they even did it with the regular people, because of that one scene with the mom or the wife who was getting buttered up. When she escaped and she was running away, she was like, all of a sudden she was just behind the door, and then he walked past the door, and when he went for the door, she was gone. And then when he turned around, she was crawling out from behind boxes underneath the stairs. And I was like, how the fuck did you get over there? Like, how were you able to stealthily get across the room without him seeing you, duck behind and underneath boxes, and like weave your way to hide under the stairs for 30 seconds for you to crawl right back out? I was just like, you just were just where you needed to be.
Because everybody all of a sudden is just Solid Snake from Metal Gear. It's like sneaking and stealth moves.
I mean, yeah, it's just where the story needs you. Obviously, there was all kinds of things to do that, especially in the ending, where there were things that didn't even make sense. I was like, fucking, the killer is on one side of the warehouse, they're on the other. He flips a trailer, and the trailer launches into the kids, and I'm
Yeah.
like, he was in the back of the warehouse, they were in the front. How the fuck does that happen?
Even after he pushed it, he was still walking up from the back after he had successfully stopped them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, wait, how did he? What? Like,
Just-
the physics in this never made sense. Like,
Just everybody, killers and victims included, just become Navy SEALs all of a sudden.
That's exactly.
Like, I don't know if a killer kicked in this door right now, back here behind me, I just look at you guys and be like, I'm dead. I'm not getting up. My knees hurt. I can't run away.
you would
Like,
just
Donald run and be like, I am not gonna make it.
Like, shit, let me stretch. Like,
give me a
shit.
second, John Carver.
mhm.
Yeah, it that was funny. I mean, obviously the killers are always, I mean, that's a trope of, Michael Myers only walks places, but just is always behind you. So it's one of those things. Was there a video? Wasn't there a video one of you guys shared where it was like Michael Myers when he's not on camera and he's like sprinting down the street?
Running as fast as he can.
He's
Yeah.
just like bolting.
Mhm.
So I mean, that's what it is. So it's just one of those things. This one just seemed like it really didn't even try to be.
And here's the thing, like,
believable.
if they would have leaned into that and I feel like if the movie would have made fun of itself more, it would have been more enjoyable.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
No.
it just took its campiness from the over the top nature of the kills, I think. But it could have made fun of itself a little bit more.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, some of the kills were really interesting and stuff. I'd say table saw was probably like one of the worst things I've saw in this movie. You know what I mean? Like, that was wild.
Even when
Threw her down on it.
even when he put those corn cob things in her ear.
Oh yeah, she got
made
it
me-
that way first. That made me feel
Yeah.
a certain way too. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah.
And then to finish her off with that saw was just like, holy shit! I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's kind of what they did.
Yeah.
That's kind of what he was going for, I think, to shock you a little bit. Just like,
Yeah. That's like his thing, isn't it? From what I remember about Hostel, which is extremely violent,
Yeah,
brutal.
it was just torture porn.
Yeah, you know.
Why I never watched it. Granted, watching this one and really just kind of enjoying it in its own right made me go, do I need to watch the Terrifier movies? Maybe I can handle those movies after watching this. Made me start to wonder. I was always kind of like hesitant because I always heard how crazy they were. So I didn't want to, I was like scared to watch it. But now after watching this, I was like, maybe I should give it a try. Maybe it's
I
not
can
as bad
take
as
it.
I think.
Maybe I won't like faint from the shock. Maybe I'll just be like, holy shit. That's kind of what this was, I think.
Yeah. Or it made me laugh because it was so ridiculous.
Did you guys get anything from like the performances, or were they all just kind of like standard? Nobody, I mean, it had Patrick Dempsey, it had Gina Gershon. That's about the only two names I kind of know. Everybody else you maybe seen here and there, but everybody.
Her dad was in a show called Suits, and he was
Oh, yeah.
excellent in Suits, and he was good in this. I can't remember his name, but yeah, I don't know. I thought a lot of them weren't good. it was a little rough. So most of the football team players and stuff, it was just kind of like, I don't know.
Stereotype jock.
What's that?
Stereotypical jocks.
Yeah, and like the annoying jock kid was just, I know he was supposed to be annoying, but he really annoyed me. I liked her. I thought she did a good job.
The main girl, yeah.
Yeah, I thought some of her stuff was like, you're stupid to be the main character doing that, but it's like, all right, it's supposed to be. Or some of the dialogue was kind of meh, like, and it's like, it's just foreshadowing the reason. And we're jumping around, we're getting to like final kills and things like that, but like the fact that she talked about how she's always known how to load a musket, and like
Right.
as it said that, I was like, okay, well, we know how this ends. You know what I mean? Sure enough, final scene,
Right.
she's loading a musket up, but like,
Yeah. With
She
with
said
her
that
necklace.
in the movie.
right.
Loading it with her necklace because she lost all the ammunition.
Thanks, Ma. It's just like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. That was another one of those moments where I did like laugh, chuckle a little bit. I looked at this, I was like, what? And just like got like, really? Well, okay.
No, I laughed, and this is the end of the movie and whatever, but I laughed. They did that big explosion at the end of the movie, and they come and the police come walking out with an inflatable turkey, and they're just walking out with it, and then they're looking for Dempsey, and there's like nothing could have survived. I'm like, well, that giant inflatable turkey did.
That caused the explosion.
Right.
Well, how did that survive?
That's funny.
I thought they were bringing his body out in that. I thought that's what that was at first. I was like, why are they
They
carrying
wrapped
it
him in
like
the
that?
turkey.
There's like 3 dudes carrying this out. I was like, oh, is that him? Did he get far? I don't
He
know.
was never found. He couldn't have survived. He evaporated.
Couldn't
That
have
turkey made it.
Of course, with these movies, they always want you guessing who the killer is.
Yeah.
Did you guys know ahead of time, or did it like take until that last scene to put it together?
I thought it was him,
Mm.
and it was too obvious to be the new boyfriend, which is what I feel like they were
Yeah.
kind of drilling us with. And then the standard red herring of it being Bobby, and then them showing us that it's Bobby. That was when it was like, oh, it's definitely not Bobby.
Yeah,
Well, it
because
was-
as soon as they that reveal that they did was so half-assed that
Oh,
you're
yeah.
just immediately like, yeah, that's not him.
He's definitely not.
It's got to be Dempsey now. You know,
Right.
That was pretty
What
much
was
where
up?
I went.
What was also funny to me about that, like them trying to tell you it was Bobby, was like, he's a foot shorter than everybody else. Like he's a foot shorter than her. So every time we've seen John Carver, he's this tall man. This dude is shorter than the lead
Yeah.
girl. So there's no way it's been him.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just something these movies always like to do. And I kind of was back and forth on who it might be. Of course, it's obvious when you see him laying there bloody, you're like, okay, he's part of this or something, the cop, Dempsey.
But how did he get there? He was chasing her through the woods, and then he got ahead of her and knocked out before she got there. I mean, I understand she twisted her ankle, but I
Right.
mean, like
he ran
got-
around her on the side, just like
without killing her. Like that was the thing. Like he was there to kill her, so like he
Yeah.
decided. Did he run past her?
Well,
he ran behind her. How did he get all
Yeah.
the way to open up the trunk, get knocked out by Bobby, and get found by her
that's
while
true.
he was chasing her?
that's a loophole.
Physics in this movie don't make sense.
No, I know, and that's what it goes back to the point of just people were just where they needed to be because script.
Part of me thought, like, for a second, I thought maybe it was like the killer was gonna end up being like the security guard in the beginning who got crushed by the door.
Yeah.
Like he didn't die. It's like that would have been cool if like he lived somehow, and he's the one now doing all this because everyone left him to die and whatever. But I don't
I'd have
know.
been more satisfied with that. I mean, then like as cheesy as it is that Dempsey's, I mean, it was still just like, okay, he had a reason to do this. You know what I mean? Like, I guess that makes sense. If anyone that was there that lost something, it's him. But also, you let the kid have the bullhorn to say that the store was open. Like, you're kind of responsible too, Dempsey.
Right.
You were law enforcement, and as soon as you got there, you should have called.
Yeah,
Pulled it in and got more people there. But I don't know. It's a movie.
it is a
It
movie.
was a movie. It was. That is a true fact about what this was. Like I said, I had a good. Like I said, I enjoyed watching it. Nothing really stood out. There was ridiculous moments. I wish they would have had the nerve to do the trampoline kill like they did in the trailer. They did not. They cleaned that up.
Too brutal in that trailer.
It's brutal in the trailer.
So they definitely cleaned up some of the kills, even though we were done saying that based on that 2007 trailer. I did laugh at the girl and her boyfriend's thing. There's one scene where when Bobby shows up after when she's attacked in the school, and Bobby shows up and he puts his jacket on her, and then that new boyfriend comes to give her a hug and he just knocks that jacket off. I was like, that's so funny.
So it was so weird and awkward. He just, as he's reaching to hug her, he pushes it off first.
And then hugs her. I died laughing because it was so smooth, but so like, I don't know, just petty in that moment.
Get that shit off you.
Yeah, he was like, nope. I know that's his jacket. I wasn't there when he put it on, but I know it's his jacket. And yeah, he just went in for that hug and knocked that jacket off, and I laughed pretty good at that. So like I said, I can't say I hated this movie. I laughed more than I thought I was gonna. Like I said, I had a good time with it. Is it good? No.
Yeah.
Will I watch it again? Probably not. Will I watch the second one? Probably.
Yeah, I think I might watch a second one. I will not go to theaters to watch it,
Oh.
but if it comes out this next in Thanksgiving 2025, and then it's on streaming by Thanksgiving 2026, I'll watch it.
Yeah,
like whatever.
That's the exact scenario that it'll be. It'll be in theaters next Thanksgiving. I won't watch it, and I'll watch it in 2026 for Thanksgiving.
Was this successful enough to get a sequel by Eli Roth, or does he just like it?
I don't.
He's trying to make this like a funny franchise.
I remember people talking about this movie when it came out, and like it not being like a flop by any means. It probably didn't like set the world on fire, but I think enough people saw it where they're like, okay, we can make another one of these.
It made $46 million.
Right. And
what did it cost?
I don't know. I'm looking that up now.
I bet it only costs like 28. Really, your biggest star
15
is
million.
15? Oh, see. Oh, so huge success.
Yeah.
Yeah. Turn to profit.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, I'm kind of with Chris. Not the greatest movie by any means, not the best horror movie by any means, but it's just a campy slasher that knew it was campy, and you know, an hour 46 just to sit there and watch some crazy kills and just something different. I mean, I was okay with watching it. I just put it in this category of like movies like this. There's a bunch of movies like this where it's just like, I saw it, I'm good. I wasn't offended by it in any way. It's just like,
is there another horror movie that you like? What else would you say is similar to this for you?
Oh, shoot. I mean, that's kind of on the spot.
I know I'm putting you on the spot. You're like, I gotta put this in this category, and I'm like, I'm trying to think of something where I'm like, what has
really slasher movies?
Urban Legend. You guys remember Urban Legend?
Yeah, Urban Legend,
something like that. Okay.
When I looked up the budget for this
see.
movie, the one sitting right next to it is a movie called Hellfest that I went to theaters to see, which is just a slasher movie in a what's it called, like amusement park, like a haunted house thing. There's just a guy going through all the different killing people while everyone's dressed up in costume. You know, you're just like, you watch it, it was fun. Will I watch it again? Do I think about it afterwards? No, but I had fun watching it while it was there because they had some creative kills. And so, yeah, just really any slasher that's not like the big 3 or 4, you know, the Halloweens or the Screams. I feel like Scream is a different level. Granted, those last couple ones were forgettable as well. So,
yeah, this just seems like there's a genre of campy slashers that don't take themselves too seriously.
Probably Terrifier falls into the same camp.
Yeah.
I think I was just such a fan of the trailer. I genuinely think if they would have just had John Carpenter music through this movie, I would have loved it. Probably.
Yeah, if they would have went that route with it, I can probably say that I would have probably enjoyed this movie more.
You know
and
what I mean?
could probably be like, "Oh my god, holy shit, this is a class." Like I could see myself even just watching that trailer and seeing what they did, and if they were able to put those things together, I think they would have had something. But I don't know if it would have had any kind of mass appeal. It might not have made as much money.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't have. So, like, one of the parts that stands out in that trailer for me, okay, so you remember when Eli Roth dies in the car with the girl? And then it cuts to immediately after the girl's telling the other jock that her boyfriend just got killed. And he's like, it's okay, Judy, you're with me now. And they start to make out. And as he's fine when they're making out. And then as the camera angle changes when she's pulling away from him, he's been decapitated while they've been making out. And it's hilarious that they thought like that's what I wanted this movie to be.
Right, like more Grindhouse.
Yes, like these deaths were ridiculous, crazy, over the top. But it was missing that kind of Grindhouse charm and fun that I really was looking forward to, I guess, for years, waiting for this to get made. And that's why I feel like I'm just kind of like, it's fine.
I get it. I
100%. 100%.
Like an old man.
I wanted it to be ridiculous and not make any sense. And yeah, people are being decapitated while you're talking to them.
Right.
Or kissing them.
Kind of like Halloween 3 that we watched a few weeks back. Just like,
dude, hilarious though. Yeah. Like hilarious.
Yeah. Halloween.
The more I think about that, and like we talked a lot of shit about that movie and stuff, like, but like, Chris, I'm understanding why you watch that every year now. Because I've been thinking about other scenes of that where it just cracked me up. And it's like, dude, it is not a good movie. It is so funny and entertaining though. Like, I just keep thinking about when he was like, wait, how old are you? And I'm just like, I'll just start cracking up about it.
And when you know what's happening and what's coming, and you know what your expectations are like,
dude,
kind of just to make fun of it, and it's fun. And just sometimes movies can just be bad, and you can have a good time with them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
In a way, this was Thanksgiving, but yes, if they would have grindhoused it, I think I could probably be having a completely different just appreciation for it more.
Yeah,
he should have leaned a little more into the Grindhouse and a little less into like a Scream clone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's a really good way to say it. That's exactly what he did, and if he would have done that instead, probably would have been a lot more enjoyable.
So they able to bring Dempsey back for the sequel? Like, you keep him as John Carver?
You kind of have to, right?
You have a new Carver.
You either have to or you have to explain it. Or he tries to do a new twist and it ends up being her the whole time.
I think John Carver just comes back and they think it's Dempsey, and whether it is or not is something that's revealed at the end of the film, probably.
I heard
you have him walking around in that pilgrim suit?
I heard it takes place 18 years from now, and they were able to save the baby from Gina Gershon, and it's actually Dempsey's son.
There you go. When I sit down to watch that movie and it says 18 years later, I'm going to laugh so hard, and I'm going to get up, I'm going to walk away.
John Carver
Roth,
Jr.
If you're still in pre-production and you want to do some rewrites, call me.
So that's why he said he was going to take the year and not try to do it back to back, because he said he wanted to work on the script. So
that's wild.
Might just be. But that was Thanksgiving 2023. If you haven't seen the Grindhouse trailer, it came out in 2007. I think if you just Google Grindhouse 2007 trailer, it pretty much pops up.
White meat, dark meat, all will be served. Thanksgiving.
If you've seen the trailer,
that was cool. That was cool when Dempsey shouted out the line, like, there will be no leftovers. Like, he said it. Like, he said the thing.
He said the thing with the trailer.
There will be
I know
no
why
leftovers.
he said that.
There will be no leftovers. I didn't know why he said that, and I just laughed. There will be no leftovers. Love it. That's what the Equalizer movies were missing. Denzel never said, "You've been equalized."
That'd have been amazing.
How hard was it? He did 3 of those movies, and not once did he ever tell anyone they've been equalized. What are we doing here? What are we doing?
Sound like a true Hollywood producer.
It's not like that. It's not like that time in the one movie after he killed that guy. He was like, "I'm a man on fire, bitch."
Nuh-uh.
Do you remember on Flight where he said, "Welcome to my flight," and looked right at the camera?
They're gonna remember the Titans. Wink, wink.
It's a great movie.
Gladiator 2. All right. This has gotten out of control.
This is Pedro Pascal. You can be a gladiator too.
God, if that doesn't happen in that movie.
The one we used to joke about, I never even saw it. The Out of Time one, we saw the trailer for it, and we just kept thinking that the whole movie Denzel was gonna be like, "You're out of time." It's like,
You're out of
Sure.
time. I'm out of time.
I'm out of time,
We gotta get gas. We're out of time.
dude. I love
It's your
Denzel
training
Washington.
day, Ethan Hawke.
It's your training day. Why is that all Denzel now?
I don't know.
guess I started with the Equalizer. Okay. All right. So I think we're good. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone out there who celebrates Thanksgiving. I don't know if anyone doesn't, but that's cool. Let us know what you think is your favorite Thanksgiving food and why we're right or wrong. If devil eggs belong in Thanksgiving, we talked about that. Feels like a while ago. So let us know. You know how to do that. Social media at Raise the Geek, email raisethegeek@gmail.com. And we'll be back next week talking about something.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't figured it out yet. So any suggestions, hit us up on those things. But unless there's any final thoughts, I think
No,
that's going
sir.
to do it for us this week. So for Raise the Geek, I'm Chris.
And I'm Don.
And I'm Tony.
And thanks for checking out the show.
Where geek is all we speak.
This year, there will be no leftovers. That's what it was.